everybody. All right, so Laura, you and everybody turn on, right? We're gonna get some
Welcome, everybody. It's only appropriate to have a little thriller. We got Halloween coming up. Join in, move around. Get up out of your chair if you're at home. Go ahead and warm it up. Dead man walk. Sideways. Turn. Ready? We got to get our blood flow before we start thinking. This is what I do all day. Welcome, everybody. We're just getting warmed up. Dead man walk. Take it to the side and up. All right, Carla. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody, most people that know me here know I'm a little crazy, so this is normal. Just moving.
Welcome, Christy and Donna and Heather.
The best thing about being our age is nobody cares. We just have fun and we don't judge anybody, so why not, right?
That's right. Oh, we're not on camera.
Side.
See?
Yay! Thanks, everybody, for allowing me to be a little crazy.
Yeah, that was awesome, Laura. Thank you.
I'm out of breath.
I'll talk for a minute while you catch your breath. I'm Carla Clayton. I'm a certified health coach. I am the wellness lady, and I'm the leader of the Smart Choices team. And I am so excited to welcome you because today we have my very dear friend, Laura Antonelli, who is a health coach, a personal trainer, a leader on the Smart Choices team. And she is amazing, amazing, amazing. And she is so passionate about helping women get healthier through healthier lifestyle and through movement. And I thought it was so appropriate she started us out with the movement to get us. But you're here today because either she or myself or someone on our team invited you to participate so that we can all learn together how we can better take care of ourselves as we transition from our younger selves to our midlife years, because there are changes that happen in our bodies, and these are not things to be afraid of. And we're going to learn some tips today that are really going to help us to feel amazing during this time of our life. Now, before we get started, I'd like everybody to find the chat button on Zoom. Click on that, and then I want you to click. There's a place where you can message just to the host and the panelist, or you can message everyone. Now, if you want everyone to hear and be a part, we really do want this to be interactive. We want to hear from you. Go ahead and click that everyone. And then now let's have some fun and chat in and tell us where you are participating from, like what state you're in, and then tell us who invited you. So let's get started with a little chat and see who, if we can do that one little task, because that's how we're going to be communicating together today. So, all right. I am looking. Hey, okay, Stacy is coming in from Knoxville, and Laura, by the way, is in North Carolina. I'm in Florida. Where else do we have some people? Kate is coming in from Wake Forest, North Carolina. And Mary Ellen from North Carolina, invited by Laura. I'm assuming all these North Carolina people are for Laura. Yeah. So is it Amy Lynn? Amy Lynn and Mary Ellen, both Laura's guests from Charlotte, North Carolina, and Greenville, North Carolina, and Lisa from North Carolina. Christy from Thompson, Georgia. I know she's my friend. And Deb came from Georgia. Georgia people. I claim the Georgia people because I used to live in Georgia. Donna coming in from Tennessee. Awesome. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I see more people are joining in. We have somebody on the telephone as well. We don't have your name, but if you'll chat in, let us know who you are. I know Laura would love to hear who's participating with us. So,
yes, please.
All right. So we accomplished our first task. We know how to do the chats. Now our next challenge is going to be Laura getting her webinar, her slides up on the screen. So let's all throw some positive thoughts her way.
Hey, I'm about to pull the trigger. Just so everybody knows, I'm better at doing aerobics than I am this. So let's just see what happens. All right.
Great.
All right, I'm here. Am I good?
You are good. Okay, so we're not a distraction. Laura and I are going to take our cameras off so you can focus on the slides and what she has to say. And remember, just chat in. Laura won't be able to see the chat, but I will be monitoring it, and I'll let her know the things that you're saying and questions that you're asking.
Yeah, so we can just stop anytime.
Yeah, we're going to stop our cameras now, and Laura,
awesome.
You can take the reins.
Thank you, Carla. And I'll just throw it back to you when I get tired. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. This is really awesome. I'm very grateful that everybody is here. Definitely more people are attending that I even planned on coming. So that just means that anything is possible when your mindset is right and when you really believe in what you're doing. So again, I can't express my gratitude enough for coming here tonight. I know that, 7 o'clock on Tuesday night, we're probably all like hanging out on the couch by now. So I do appreciate your time. So again, I am Laura Antonelli. For those that don't know me, I'm a certified holistic health coach, and I wanted to bring everybody here tonight just to give them some really great information on perimenopause and menopause. And so that way people could have some options as we are entering midlife as to what paths they want to take, what approaches it's going to be right for them to handle these changes midlife. And then again, for people that are already in menopause, natural ways to maybe help them get through the process and feel a little bit better, more energy and so forth. So again, everybody's introduced themselves in the chat, so that's awesome. I'm going to try to stay off script as much as possible. So I'm not going to be reading a whole lot of slides, so you can do that. But I just want to go over really quickly what you're going to learn about tonight. So if you do want to take screenshots of anything, you can. We're also going to be giving out handouts. So you will get a replay and handout. So you will have material with you in your email after this is over. So what we're going to be learning about first is the difference between perimenopause and menopause, how hormones interact within your body systems, symptoms and causes of hormone imbalances, 3 ways to balance your hormones naturally, foods to embrace to have healthy hormones, herbs and supplements for healthy hormones, the role of toxins and mindset and how it plays in hormone imbalances, and how to manage your weight during menopause. So tonight we're going to share some of the secrets with you that the doctors are not telling you when it comes to how to address from a holistic perspective, hot flashes, excess belly weight, visceral fat, mood swings, bloating, headaches, all these different things that we're encountering. So if you want to feel energized and ditch the crazy mood swings and going from 0 to 1,000 over nothing, then you're definitely in the right place for tonight. So again, welcome. Just to tell you just a little bit about myself for people that don't know me, I tell everybody I'm a mom of 5 because I have 1 grown child who's 23 and 4 fur babies. So that makes me a mom. And I'm also an entrepreneur. So I started in the wellness business with partnering with Shackley. So that was actually coming up on, it'll be 3 years in March, actually. So that's what started my journey in wanting to take my career path in a different direction. So I just began my business umbrella, which is Plant Proof Fitness, which embodies my Shackley partnership, my health coaching services, my Whole Foods plant-based nutrition services as well. I'm certified in that area, and personal training. So kind of a one-stop shop where people can go and, you know, get a variety of services if they choose to do so. Also, I am a part-time wellness director at a community called Del Webb in Wake Forest, very active, super fun, 55 and over community. I love and enjoy being there. I love all the people. So clearly I'm around people all day that are a little bit older than me. So I'm 45 for those of you that don't know. And again, so I'm around a lot of people in their 50s and 60s, 70s, and so forth. And that was one of the reasons that I wanted to do this presentation, because listening to them, I hear a lot of the same common denominator complaints as far as hot flashes, belly bloating, digestive issues, gaining weight midsection, especially because I'm one of the fitness instructors there. You know, so I listen to everything that they say, you know, painful joints, you know, issues with like energy, like lulls, peaks and valleys, things like that, you know, and other things too. But again, these are things that, you know, if we kind of can be proactive and know how to take care of our body now, smooth sailing into that age group, you know, we can thrive now and be proactive. And again, for people already in menopause, learning about, hey, I know how to maneuver this now, and I have the information and knowledge so I can make better decisions and choices. It's going to make me feel so much better. So for me, being in perimenopause now, I want to continue to feel how I feel right now. So that is my goal. I want all my clients to feel the same way. And I know Carla, she can speak real quick about her menopause story because she's already been through it. So if she can just, Carla, if you can just say a couple things about that.
Sure. Thanks, Laura. So I am 55 and I went through perimenopause starting at 43, and I didn't know what was going on. And I started to have a little bit of the night sweats. I started to have some anxiety. And then I went to my gynecologist and she told me, she confirmed, she said, you're in perimenopause. And so once I knew what was going on, then I started researching and trying to find out what could I do to make things better for myself. And so I applied a lot of the things that you're going to learn about tonight. And I was able to, I tell people I was able to breeze through menopause. And I went through menopause in a couple of years. And I think at 45, 46, I was done. And I don't suffer from hot flashes or those types of things very often at all. Every once in a while, if I'm a lot of stress or something, or I'm not taking real good care of myself, but otherwise it was a breeze. And so what I want to share, and I know Laura wants you to know this is a time that should be a great time in your life. So you shouldn't be dreading menopause. If you're pre-perimenopause or perimenopause, don't dread it, because it can be amazing. It was some of the best times of my life. So yeah, I want to give that over to her. But before we do, can everybody pop in the chat? Like, what is your one or two things you really want some help with? Is it, the hot flashes? Is it the anxiety? Is it the headaches? Is it the weight gain? What are the things that you're most concerned about, so we can, pay attention to that as we go forward? Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Carla. So little quote up here for the evening is this pretty much is exactly what we're honing in on, which is the quote of most women's health issues are caused from hormone imbalances and estrogen dominance. That is going to be the focus for tonight. So my immediate response and reaction to this quote is, for me personally, thinking about taking a holistic whole body approach to dealing with these issues and not a localized approach, because for me, that just doesn't really make sense. I believe in targeting the root cause. To give you an example, say I'm working with a client and they're complaining about back pain, right? So initially, you might think, okay, well, something's wrong with the muscles in their back. Well, that's kind of like a localized approach. But if we're looking at a holistic approach, when I'm looking at somebody, I'm going to be like, okay, are their hips in balance? Are their legs in balance? Do they have really tight hamstrings? Do they have tight quads? Is it a shoulder issue? Is it something going on in their neck? So just to kind of give you a mental picture of what I'm talking about as far as like whole body approach. So again, whole body, all systems are involved, and you're going to see in the slide really what I'm talking about, how one thing affects everything and multiple things at the same time. So of course, super excited. We just need to understand what menopause is if we don't know. So again, you can read this. I'm going to try to just, hit the highlights, so that way I'm not being too redundant. Typically, menopause, average age is 51. About less than 5% of the population goes through what they call early or premature menopause, unless they have some kind of like underlying, health condition, or, have had something go on. So like a surgical removal of ovaries, things like that, chemo, different environmental chemical exposures, things like that, autoimmune diseases. So in those kind of instances, a lot of people immediately believe, right, that in menopause, you're bound to gain weight. So if you want to drop in the chat if you believe that is true or false, that you will gain weight during menopause, you can, up to you. My response to that is going to be, going forward, no. And if you're in menopause, I'm going to say no. Reason being is this. New studies have come out that we actually don't have a slower metabolism in menopause. That's been the common themes. A lot of studies before have also pointed to that direction. That's kind of what we all talk about together. But in actuality, it's our lifestyle or parts of our lifestyle that slows down. So no longer can we blame it on our metabolism. Okay. So again, there's things that we can do to fix that. Loss of muscle. Yes, but I'm going to say no, because we have control over building lean muscle mass, and that's what we all need to be, thinking about now. Wonky estrogen levels. And I'm going to say no to that too, because that's why we are here tonight, because we are going to address that issue. So we are all in alignment and balance. So essentially we're going to hit all three. So we are just not going to have any issues with that. So if you follow me, we got that. Another thing that you can look at, again, for maybe your timing of menopause as well, could be like your family history as well. So your mom, grandma, things like that. For some women, saying goodbye to menopause is sad. I think Carla said she was cheering. So she was pretty happy when she hit that transitional period. So now, again, speaking back to the people like myself, the 45-ish-year-olds, the transition period, that's what perimenopause is. So before you go into menopause, again, that's the transition period. At this time, ovaries start to slow down, our estrogen levels start to change, hormones start to shift, and so forth. can last from 2 to 12 years. So again, being proactive before and during that time is going to help us over the long run. And you also will get a handout with a perimenopause quiz that you'll get as well. So for me, again, I'm looking to live a balanced life, to continue aging with the same energy I have now, or even better than I did in my 30s. So that is my desire. And I think tonight we just all need to focus on physical health, mental health, spiritual, and nutritional health, because they are all intertwined. And I promise you, when one is out of balance, everything else is out of balance as well. The reason being, our body craves homeostasis, which is balance. It wants to do everything to be in that state. So the more that we can do to help that full body approach, the better off we're going to feel in the long run. How will you know if you're in menopause? This is super straightforward. If you haven't had a period in 12 months, you're not pregnant, and you're not sick. So I will take a quick second and say that, again, this is all educational information for you all. This was not created to treat or diagnose anything. So I just wanted to also throw that out here really quick. All right, ta-da. Signs of perimenopause and menopause. Here's a list that we are going to diminish. So if you would like to right now, you can drop just a number in the chat of maybe, once you've had a chance to just kind of look at this list, of how many of these items might be relatable to you. So maybe it's one, maybe it's three.
Yeah, while they're doing that, I want to give you a little feedback. They all typed in what they most want to learn about tonight. Dawn wants to know about the stomach fat and the hot flashes. Lisa wants to know about weight gain. And Amy Lynn wants to learn about the fatigue, belly fat, and moodiness. Joanna wants to just know what to expect, because she's still young, and but you know, that's around the corner. Stacy wants to know, get help with sleep disturbances. Deb says her biggest struggles were hot flashes and leg cramps. Mary Grace wants to know how she can prevent these common things on the list. And Christy wants help with headaches and sleep issues. Joanna wants to know what to do to move more and build muscle. So yeah, Kate wants to know how to regulate the hot flashes. And now they're coming in with their numbers. I don't know the first name for V, but V has 3, Dawn has 10, Amy Lynn has 15. She needs help.
We're just going to give her a prize.
Casey says she has 11. So yeah, we're all over the place with we need this information, Laura. Thank you.
No holding back, people. No holding back.
Yes.
So, all right, on to next step here. So we're going to address everything. And again, Carla can always help you. I can help you as well. So we are 100% game and up for having one-off conversations, because we know that everybody's system is different. And getting to know somebody is a much better way of, you know, helping somebody to ask a lot of questions. I know that's one big thing I've learned from Carla, is asking questions. So I just want to say something real quick before I forget. So Carla's super awesome. She's my mentor, because I didn't get a chance to say this a minute ago. She's been a wellness coach and a health coach for a very long time. She's been doing this and helping people for 28 years. And so I have to just say thank you to her, because I wouldn't even be here doing any of this without her. Everything that I've done is manifested since, you know, I've been part of this with Carla. And she literally worked with me for about 2 hours yesterday, and I probably drove her crazy with my technical problem. So I appreciate Carla to the utmost.
Thank you. And you're amazing, Laura. I mean, so much fun to watch you grow over the years, and everything that you've done to now be able to give so much value to everyone that you know. So congratulations for your personal growth.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so now this is a little complicated. So in it kind of, you know, just bear with me with this slide. We could do a whole nother chapter and workshop just on how our body systems interact. So this is going to be the very abridged version to a very complicated topic. So what I want you to really take away from this diagram is that everything is connected. Everything interacts with one another. I don't care what direction of the circle that you're going, if you're going up and down, left and right, counterclockwise, everything interacts, starting with hormones, which we will get a little bit more into on the next slide. But let's just say, like, what's going on in the brain, right? So when you're experiencing all these lovely, hormones and interactions with stress, anxiety, depression, lack of sleep, if you can go back to a time where you experience maybe one or multiple of those, they all interact with your gut health, causing inflammation in the body. So again, we're going already across the board of how things are interacting. What happened? Did it cause you to eat more? Did it cause you to gain any weight? Did it create that inflammation in your body? Obesity, things like that, high fat diet, how does that affect hormones? Well, if it's creating inflammation in the body, if you have infection in the body, if you have high levels of acidity in the body, how is that going to affect the gut? How is that going to translate to hormones? So again, everything interacts here. So things that we don't want, obviously, that creates inflammation in the body is obesity, high fat diet, say trans fats, saturated fats, things like that. Even healthy fats, we don't want to go overboard. We want to keep everything in balance. Infection, we want to make sure that we're getting, proper vitamins like vitamin C doses and things like that to make sure that infection isn't creating inflammation in the body. And again, high levels of acidity, again, which is a whole nother topic, but a healthy body should be slightly alkaline on the pH scale. So that is about a 7.4. And you can actually test yourself for that. You can buy little pH strips if you really wanted to and test for that. But again, the body likes to breed disease in an acidic body. So again, being mindful of the types of foods that we're eating and try to create balance and harmony in the body is only going to help you with inflammation, even going back to the stress, anxiety, depression from the brain, all of those hormones, again, interacting together, right? Going back over now to the left side, the gut side. So gut, that is where all dis-ease begins. So the word dis-ease or disease broken down is dis and ease. That means that your body is not at ease. So anytime you hear disease, think of it from a holistic perspective, okay? So again, issues with the gut that are very common, candida, that's yeast overgrowth, right? There's a lot of foods that can cause that, too much acidity in the body, things like that. Bad bacteria can actually cause a lot of different issues such as fatty liver. That's actually pretty common as well. So again, interacting and impacting another system. Gluten, some people it's totally fine. Some people that have gluten intolerance can cause a lot of different reactions and inflammation and anxiety and stress levels and so forth. Poor diet, like I said, really honing in and trying to clean up our diet the best that we can is going to help our gut microbiome and what I call is really its own ecosystem because it's that important. So foods, drinks, your environment, your thoughts, let me tell you, your thoughts right away. If your mindset, if you're not in a healthy mindset, you can literally make your body acidic just from your mind, even if you're doing all of the right things. So I can't even tell you how important that is. Breathing patterns, learning how to deep breathe, taking deep breaths, inhaling for 3 seconds, holding and exhaling in the morning, first thing when you're first waking up, maybe doing your meditations or doing your gratitude journal, whatever it is that you do in the morning, all of those things can actually help alkaline your body. Exercise, all of these kinds of things, can really help so much and bring your body back to that homeostasis. I'm going to move on, but if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Going back to hormones again, this is also a little bit complicated. Ovaries, starting with ovaries, the hormones that are produced there, estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, sexual function. So essentially that affects all of our reproduction, sexual function, really all kinds of health actually, okay? Going back down, related to the thyroid, basically your thyroid hormones and your thyroid gland creates that metabolic rate, which is essentially your body's ability to burn energy and calories, okay? Adrenal glands, that's a big one too. So that creates the stress response and several different other hormones, but we're focusing on cortisol tonight. So you've probably heard of that and read about it before. I'm sure you have. So cortisol is what I call the temporary response hormone. So fight or flight, which is fine. We should have that. You know, someone jumps out at you, you should be scared. You should go into a state of stress. That is completely normal and healthy. But if your body is running really high and producing a lot of cortisol, that's too much for too long of a period of time. So again, what does that do? It creates inflammation in the body. And what does that do? It upsets your gut, right? So you're kind of getting the bigger picture here. So another thing with too much cortisol, which is true, that's when your body will start to accumulate visceral fat, which is the fat in your abdominal region, and it's just going to want to hold on to it. So that's one of the issues that I'm experiencing right now. Like I said, just kind of really paying attention to my body speaking to me. I can tell without weighing myself, for example, within, gaining 2 pounds, I gain it right in that one spot that I don't want it. So the lower part of my stomach, if anyone can relate to that, raise your hand. But that's what it is. It's not where it used to be. It's there, or maybe like in parts of my back. So like I've noticed, but it's really mostly in that lower part of my abdominal area. And I know, again, it has a lot to do with, my estrogen levels and the drop off of progesterone. And that's just what it is. Again, going down a little bit further, going to the pancreas. So the insulin helps regulate our blood sugar. So all of this here is interactive, and it's all a balancing game with hormones. Okay. So again, here you can see where imbalances are going to affect everything. Okay. So it's kind of like, if we're not looking at a holistic approach, to me, it's kind of like if I had a book, and this is kind of old school, if I had a book, I read a chapter versus reading the Cliff Notes. So if anybody even knows what that is, I'm sure everybody does though. All right. So what? Could you try again? Sorry, Siri. Okay. So now for people that are interested in a natural, holistic path to better wellness, this is not a quick fix. Okay. This is not a one pill path for you to take. This is, again, a whole body plan that it's not going to be, hormone therapy replacement. Okay. Again, you can research that and figure out if that's something that you would want to do. For me, I'm opting out of that because I have done quite a bit of research on the long-term side effects. And for me, it's just not something that I want to do. Long-term side effects increases your risk of endometrial cancer, breast cancer, cardiovascular disease, things like that. And honestly, like after that, I'm like, for me, that's just enough. I don't need to dig deeper on that. I'm completely fine being all in and dedicated to a full-on approach. This is what I'm doing for myself, and this is what I'm going to help and mentor others do for people that are interested. So again, this is just the information so you can make good choices for yourself, whatever that might be. Just kind of going over all this, starting with diet. And you can read the sugar, refined sugars. My notes on that are going to be: read your label. Everything on the front of a label, front of the package, is all fun and games. On the back, and the smallest print, is where you're going to find some of the real deal information. Looking with fewer ingredients you pronounce is also good. But also remember too, some of those other ingredients that might be hard to read could just be simple ingredients that just have a scientific name. So just throwing that out there as well. So keep that in mind. When you're picking up food items that say have sugar, try to pick items that have, they're not including refined sugars, like maybe alkaline sugars, like date sugars, things like that is good. Coconut sugars is just going to be a healthier option than like a bleached processed sugar. And a lot of people ask about fruit and say, well, fruit has too much sugar. Eat as much fruit as you can. The sugar in fruit does not metabolize the same way as, for example, table sugar. The reason being, it's coming from the earth, a natural source, but it's also combined with fiber. So your body does not process that kind of sugar in the same way because it's bound with fiber. And also you're getting obviously vitamins, minerals, water, right? You're getting hydration from it. So fruit, I do lots and lots of fruit, and it helps with my sugar cravings because I eat a lot of fruit. So there's my little spiel on sugars. Stress, again, elevated cortisol levels, prolonging the inflammation. And we'll get into this a little bit deeper in a few more slides down. Also, taxing the adrenals. We want to really manage that. I don't think life has really become less stressful, but I can tell you this, since I've been actively managing my stress, even with the state of everything going on, I am in a much better place mentally now and physically than I was last year. I felt like a lot of last year, I was very angry. There's just a lot of, I had a hard time getting along with people. Like I was very, very up and down. And so now I'm a little bit more mindful, realizing like that's just not the way to go. And this is, again, all about estrogen dominance. So that is essentially when our body creates too much estrogen while producing less progesterone. So that is the imbalance. Okay. Dropping down a little bit, talking about birth control pills and hormone replacement therapy, things like that. Obviously, these impact estrogen. Birth control pills, obviously chemicals, synthetic, things like that. A different type of information for your body. So it's because it's not natural, your body's going to have a harder time understanding it. And I was on birth control for quite some time. I don't know if anyone can relate to this, but I do have some long-term side effects still from birth control, and I haven't been on it for, gosh, I don't know, maybe 7 years now. So if you do, you're not alone, because I have that too. Other nutritional advice, obviously excess caloric intake, stress is correlated to obesity, things like that. So calories in, calories out, apps for that, trying to figure out what's right for you. That's, again, a whole nother conversation, because my perspective on calorie intake may not be what a lot of people, believe in for calorie intake. So I'll kind of table that for now. But again, weight loss, things like that. And I'm saying weight loss, not waist loss, because there's a difference. And we'll talk about that in a minute as well. Is really based on the person, and it's always going to be math. So when I say weight loss, I'm not necessarily talking about health, because there's ways people lose weight that's not healthy. But again, as far as math and basic weight loss on a scale, it's always going to be being in a negative calorie deficit. Impaired liver function, we talked about that in a few other slides, like the influx I've seen of people that experience fatty liver and so forth. Deficiencies that impair either ovaries or mitochondria. A lot of times when I'm working with a client, I'm addressing that in a situation of mineral and vitamin deficiencies and oxidative decay. So a lot of times when we're talking about holistic health, a lot of things can change when we are remineralizing the body. Okay. Last thing on this slide, environmental. So estrogens fed to the animals. So cows, steers, pigs, chickens, all those kinds of things. I think probably everybody knows I'm vegan, so I don't worry about that. So I will throw this out there though. Look for a local farm near you. Look for a farmer's market. Okay. So, and it's actually fun. Try it. If you haven't been to one, it's fun. The food is going to be better. It's going to be local, things like that. Get to know some of the people that are there. They're always there every week. And you can ask them questions about, their livestock. Okay. So just think about that, because that's where I go. I mean, and they always have those products and eggs and things like that. That's where I go to get a lot of my stuff, probably like 80% of my groceries, because then I can, like I said, I can support local, talk to the farmers. And again, it's usually really high quality. I really haven't had anything that wasn't, and it lasts longer and it's actually cheaper. So a lot of people think, oh, it's super expensive. It's actually not. And it, like I said, like produce will last like 2 weeks. So that's a huge win. All right, getting back on topic. Let's see, where are we at now? Hormones, antibiotics, things like that. Xenoestrogens, those are just straight up synthetic carcinogenic chemicals. That's what that is. Okay. We don't want exposure to that. That throws your hormones off, just like antibiotics and milk, things like that. Xenoestrogens, you're going to find those like your herbicides, pesticides, other places that you may not think of, plastics. So think about how much plastic you might use in a day, like with your food and things like that. Maybe do some swap outs in your water. I think most people like probably have a water pitcher now and things like that. I've actually changed over my shower heads. I kind of want to change over as much as I possibly can. So any questions on that? Go ahead and drop it in the chat and I'll move on. I'll try to go a little quicker. Factors that affect your adrenals. So take a look at this. Okay, this is pretty much all stress related in one capacity or another. Some are stresses that we can't control. So what do I say to that? Do not even put any kind of energy that you have, no reserved energy, anything on things that you cannot control. Okay, that's like probably the worst thing that you can really do for your health. Instead, let's go ahead and heal the body and focus on the things that we can control. Okay, so again, adrenal fatigue, that's from the endocrine gland, it's right above the kidneys, produces a variety of hormones, and of course, cortisol, which is the one that we're honing in on. You may have or may not have heard of this before as you're looking at the slide. Have you ever heard of adrenal fatigue? There's a lot of controversy over that. I do believe it's a real thing because we do tax our adrenals heavily, especially in the society we live in today. A couple signs of that. If you kind of ever feel like you're just running on empty all the time, that's a sign of adrenal fatigue. Craving salt, that's another sign. Having an increased energy in the evening, kind of like a lull in the day and then a lot at night, kind of that cortisol roller coaster, and kind of just gets tired over doing mundane tasks, things like that. Those are all, relatable to adrenal fatigue. So again, another reason why it's great ongoing, like seasonally and so forth, to do ongoing types of detoxes for not just the body, but also the mind and spirit as well. Okay. Moving on, quick game here. I want you to just drop something quick in the chat. We're looking at a column of too much when estrogen is too high and when estrogen is too low. So you might be in one category, you might be in the other, or you could be in both. So you can drop a 1 for category 1, 2 for category 2, or 3, meaning both if you'd like to. So take a look at all of these lovelies. And now we're going to focus on getting back into balance and getting off the merry-go-round cycle. So how I look at this is this. This merry-go-round cycle is going to be the same with any type of health issue or preventative care that you want, because we cannot keep repeating the same things. And then we have to be consistent with whatever we're planning to do. So the way I'm looking at things is the regimen that I stay on, this is not for me to complete for a month, 3 months, 6 months. This is for life. Like I don't ever plan on changing, just making adjustments as needed, but I'm not going to get to a place and then decide I don't need to keep doing all the things, because my body's just going to kind of slowly go back to, a place where I don't want to go anymore. So just keep that in mind. So essentially what this is showing is this. Your hormones are out of balance. Typically, it's going to be the reason because of estrogen dominance or the reverse. Okay, so we're starting off with hormone imbalance, estrogen dominance, right? So we gain more weight. What happens? Belly fat. Then we produce even more estrogen, and we get more out of whack, and then we get more increased estrogen dominance, and it just goes around and around and around in a cycle with more hormone imbalancing. So I think that it's time to get off the broken merry-go-round. Okay, if anybody's ready for that, we are going to get into a little bit more nitty-gritty, and that's going to be, okay, if we really want to do this, and this is really what we want to hone in on, we need to come up with 3 ways to balance hormones. So let's start with thyroid health. Okay, thyroid gland, it's the major role in metabolic health and your metabolic rate. Okay, it also controls your heart rate, muscle and digestive function, brain development, bone maintenance, things like that. If you do have concerns, get it tested. I know that it's not expensive. I think we even have some links for that. For example, like hyperthyroidism and things like that, like want to be aware of that, because that means that the thyroid hormone in the body, it's going to start slowing down body processes. So we obviously don't want that. When it comes to thyroid support, my approach when I've worked with clients is always to nourish first. Okay, so we want to nourish that thyroid, okay, remineralize and so forth. We want to also focus on lifestyle. So that's going to be stress, sleep is a big one. Hydration is huge. I think a lot of people think that they're really hydrating properly, and Probably not. Okay. Exercise, not overworking your body mind, but having to me, it's more of about a mind body connection, because there are times that you do need to push yourself, but there are also times you need to listen to your body and take a break, lay on the couch, or on a Sunday, hang out and just watch movies, because you do need to have yourself some downtime. Your body does need to rest. Okay. Speaking your truth. So what do I mean by that? I think most of us are getting better now that we're in our 40s or more, not holding our tongue. We're pretty direct and we're okay with that, which is great. But sometimes when we stagnate our own energy, whether that's thoughts, emotions, I don't care what it's about, it does not allow our energy to flow, and it creates imbalances in our body, and that is just not good. So it really speaks from the biggest muscle in your body, which is the brain, and that's where it really starts. So think about really speaking your truth, getting things off your chest, your emotions, and really being mindful of your thoughts and observing them, and then the bad thoughts, push them away and just let them go. Okay. Diet. What's really key for thyroid health is iodine, which you may or may not know. Again, here's a list of different iodine sources that I like. I'm not really into table salt, so I don't use that. I get a lot of mine from sea moss because I like to make it and it's easy. I eat a lot of potatoes with skin, things like that. Another mineral that's really good is selenium. So here's a little list here. I love mushrooms. I can eat mushrooms all day. Brazil nuts, I usually have like 2 or 3 a day. That's all you really need. Again, here's a little reference list for you. A few other things that are not mentioned on here, vitamin D. So vitamin D, obviously you get that from the sun. However, what most people don't know is during the winter months here, you probably need to supplement D unless you're outside, like in a bikini, essentially, and your whole body is absorbing the D and you're out there for, a decent amount of time. The other thing too is your melanin in your skin affects how much vitamin D you need. So most people know my fiance, Jimmy, like his complexion is much darker than mine. He needs more vitamin D than me. So that's something to also consider that I don't think is very well talked about. Also, your absorption, your body's absorption to, I can't talk right now. I'm trying to say your calcium and magnesium levels. So they have to be adequate in order for your body to produce vitamin D. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that there. And again, the thyroid is the center of all hormone communication. So we need to take that very seriously. Adrenal health, we've talked about that several times. Again, a lot of that is always going to be going back to stress. I've recently started doing a lot of different affirmations and mantras, things that I say over and over again to myself, and you wouldn't believe like how much power you have in that, right? And again, not trying to control the future, really living more present. That's super, super important to adrenal health and overall health. And of course, diet too, lowering sugar and caffeine. Caffeine is a little difficult for me. Like I'm still drinking coffee, so I'm down to like 3/4 of a cup today, but it's tough. But those are things that do tax your adrenals. So it is what it is. So I just want to throw that out there. Healthy fats are great. They're listed there. Adaptogens. I'm a huge fan. I use an adaptogen that has ashwagandha in it that I really like. So if you want to ask me about what I use, you are more than welcome to. And moving on to gut health, which we did touch on a little bit before. Again, it's its own ecosystem. The microbiome produces and modulates sex and thyroid hormones. Okay. So going back to lifestyle, avoiding antibiotics when you can. Obviously, you need to use them sometimes, but when you can, do that. And then also make sure you take a high quality probiotic when you transition off to repopulate the bacteria that's needed. Refined sugars, we touched on that. Hidden food triggers, again, like could be gluten, could be other things too, dairy, all kinds of stuff. And that's something we could talk about in a one-off conversation. More plant-based foods, fruit first, always fruit first. So I'm going to say something really quick about that. Before I do my soy protein smoothie and all that, I do fruit. So when I get up in the morning, it's just a quick tip. I do key lime water to alkaline the body. I don't buy alkaline water because that's synthetic. I make my own, just adding a key lime and putting it in my water. I drink that before I have my coffee and kind of ruin it, but I do that, drink more water, and I always eat grapes, whatever's in season, apples, like 3 pieces of fruit by itself. The reason being is because I want the prebiotics right away. I want extra hydration right away, and I want a straight shot of nutrition to my bloodstream immediately with vitamins and minerals. So that's what I do, and it gives me quite a bit of energy and sustains me till I'm ready to have my shake. Food pairings, again, that's kind of like a big conversation too, but that can affect gut health, is knowing what food pairings work and which ones don't very well. And bowels, like huge, like big time, huge, super key for estrogen metabolism, how the body moves bad estrogen out, and it's through the bowels. So detoxing, cleanse, whatever you got to do to get those bowels moving and keep them consistent is going to really make a huge impact on your health. So I'm big on that. Of course, you have questions, let me know. Culture foods, fermented foods. We need those for probiotics. Lots of fiber, because what happens is the fiber bonds to the bad toxins for removal. So again, lots of plant life, probiotics. A time-release probiotic is what you want to get to the small intestine, and prebiotics first thing in the morning, whether it's a supplement or fruit, whatever is good for you. So keep moving. Foods for healthy hormones, healthy fats. You got them all right here. I'm just going to say to note on the last part, balancing your omega-3 to 6s. So what you kind of want is a 2-to-1 ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 for balance. Unfortunately, the standard American diet, or the SAD diet, the ratio is fairly out of whack at a 10-to-1 ratio or 30-to-1 ratio. So we don't want that. So the omega-6s typically fall into the hydrogenated fat, saturated fats, fat foods, things like that. So basically the omega-3s kind of counteract the inflammation that the 6s create. So you do not want to be in a 10-to-1 or a 30-to-1. You don't want that. All right, phytoestrogens are fabulous. Okay, here they are. I like all of them. Get your phytoestrogens. Okay, go down the list, take a look, see what you like, what you don't like, and try to incorporate those as much as you can. Some of them are seasonal. And I have a lot of my favorites on here. I want to clear up a few myths on the phytoestrogens. So if you go to Google and you search for phytoestrogens, you're going to find a lot of misunderstood information out there that is not science-based. It's going to tell you that phytoestrogens are bad, and clearing up the truth, that is not true. So what the truth is they actually have estrogen-like compounds, okay? And ta-da, phytoestrogens are found everywhere in plants. So every plant that you eat is going to have phytoestrogens, okay? And they only have 1/1000% of the strength of a human estrogen, which is the next little box over there, okay? So your body produces that from your ovaries, the human estrogen. And then talking about the xenoestrogens again on the far right, like we had said before, synthetic, chemical, body doesn't really understand them, not very healthy, carcinogenic, so forth. So basically and I think this is key, the phytoestrogens do is they bind with estrogen receptor sites, and they prevent the human estrogen or the xenoestrogens from binding to our cells, possibly blocking them from harmful things such as cancer causing things and so forth, cancer, estrogen dominance, and so forth. So it's really preventing those invaders that we don't want. So think of phytoestrogens in that context. I think that is very important. That's really what I want you to take away from this. Going back to the foods, iodine, again, we talked about that just a few minutes ago, so I won't spend much time on this. Basic RDA for good thyroid health is 150 micrograms a day. And here is your list. So think about that, especially if you're not really using table salt, which I'm not necessarily recommending, but just keep that in mind. Soy, super controversial, same thing, lots of published misinformation about soy. So we just need to start digging a little deeper and deprogramming ourselves to start realizing that some of the things maybe we've learned, we need to unlearn, and this is one of them. So with soy, I will say this, there is a lot of junky soy out there. So when you are searching for soy, make sure it is both organic and non-GMO. that's the safe way. You can always make it yourself. But when I go to buy it, it's always going to be organic, non-GMO, or I'm not buying it. It is a superfood for women. As you can see, like the goal at the very bottom of the sheet is how much you should consume a day. So I'm definitely getting at least minimum, probably more, 25, really 20 to 30 grams a day. I am definitely a huge fan of that. Like I said, there's a lot of great studies that you can find about soy. So I have been working with clients. I have one right now. She's a cancer survivor that she finally tried my soy protein and she's like, I really like it. I'm just scared to make the change from plant, but that's okay. She's like, I just have to like unlearn what I've learned, what her doctor told her for so many years. Could you try again? Sorry. So anyway, again, it takes time to, recondition ourselves to some other truths and facts. Dim foods are great, help improve estrogen metabolism. Again, they support the production of estrogen metabolites. So pick and choose, roasting seasons here, roast up some vegetables, make some kimchi. I know most of you all can cook, so that's good. And also I will have recipes coming on my website, so you can do a free download for that. And I'll let you all know when that's going to be ready, so you get some free recipes. Fermented cultured foods, you need this for good gut health. Okay. Probably need a probiotic unless you eat these every day. I eat them quite a bit. I'm not sure that I eat them every day, so I do my probiotic. I put kefir on here and I took off kombucha. It's not that I'm not a fan of kombucha, it just does have a lot of sugar in it, and there's actually no scientific information that says that it really does help. However, I think it's fine, totally fine, maybe not great for every day, but like, if you like it, you drink it a couple times a week, I don't think it's a huge deal. But again, you need fermented foods for the probiotics, or at least a probiotic. Okay. All right. Natural medicines for menopause. And now we're going to talk really quickly about herbs. So herbs are always going to be for healing. Fruits are for nourishment. Vegetables are for grounding. Okay. So whenever we're talking about healing, we always need supporting herbs in order to do that. It's a big part of health, whether it's by supplementation or fresh herbs or a combination of both. We need these things. So here's a list of some of my favorites here. You can take a look at that. If you want a screenshot, of course, you can do that as well. Understanding supplementation, super important. So when you go to buy something, do you really know what you're buying is quality? A couple of tips. We do have a handout if you do want more information, which is a longer list of what you need to be looking at. So these are a couple tips. Absorption, assimilation in your body. The formulation is actually balanced, is everything that's on the label in each tab. How do they use their cooling system and preserve enzymes? Because obviously, what's the point if they're not doing that? What else is in there? Is the first ingredient sugar? Is it artificial? Like, what kind of foreign things are in there that we don't really want to be consuming? Are they synthetic? Are they natural? Are they safe? Like clinical studies, like make sure, there's a paper trail that you can actually look at and have access to, so you know what you're getting is safe and effective. So my last takeaway on that is pretty much for everything that I ingest daily, whether it's absorbed through my skin or through my mouth or whatnot, like I do try my best to make sure I know what it is. One-offs, not such a big deal, right? But like, balance 80-20, I do try, my best. And it's a learning curve to really know what I'm getting every day. So this is going to reflect most of what I do. So it's basically a women's hormone balancing program. Again, soy protein, it's proven, it's just proven to reduce all of those symptoms there. So you can read that. A well-balanced multivitamin is good. A lot of things that we do deplete vitamins without us really knowing it. I know I touched on coffee earlier and I hate to bring it up again, but it does. So sometimes we do need to replenish, or like I said, if you just didn't have a stellar day of eating, like it's always good to have your backup insurance for, not having all those vitamins and minerals that you need every day. So you can take a look at that. Just real quick about the vitamins. I'm almost done. I'm going to hand this to Carla. So I'm trying to go as fast as I can. B complex. So where do you even get B? So there's a big thing out here now, like, okay, vegans are, B deficient and not, carnivores and omnivores and things like that. Well, guess what? Everybody's actually deficient in B. because B comes from little microorganisms that live on like plants and microgreens and things like that. So the reason that most people are depleted in say B12 and so forth is because our soil, first of all, is so stripped. We don't have the nutrient density we used to have. We don't. And I think that we all probably know that and understand that. And if you go to the grocery store, everything is triple washed. I mean, you still got to wash it again when you get home. But again, like there's no dirt on it. There's no microorganisms. So it is what it is. So get a B complex if you decide that you want to supplement B. Don't get an isolated B. Isolated B does not work. So if you're worried about B12 or whatever, get a B complex. And like I said, unless you have a one-off situation where your doctor prescribed a B12, you have different types of anemia that you need to do that. That might be a different situation, but you can't isolate B. You have to do a complex, because if you isolate it, then it's actually going to have the reverse and start to bring all your B levels down, so to speak. So there's that. Time release vitamin C, again, we want to fight infections. So again, getting all your fruits and veggies with vitamin C. If you do want a time release dose, that's also good. That's just going to help, reduce that inflammation. And you can take a look at the rest of all the things there. Vitamin E is good too. It eases stress and oxidative stress, which is basically the interaction of free radicals and antioxidants. So that's always good. GLA, that's one thing that I'm not supplementing with right now, but possibly in the near future, I might need that. Again, it helps with adrenal fatigue, and I think that's really important. So just kind of playing that by ear to see how that goes. It definitely helps a lot of people. And then I'm actually going to let Carla talk for a little bit, because we're kind of going back into menopause. Then we're going to go into some household toxins. So if Carla can kind of jump in here and pick up with the menopause balance complex, that would be awesome.
Okay, wow, Laura, you've given us so much great information, and thank you so much. So the menopause balance complex, this is something that I used when I was in the height of my menopause, and it really, really made a big difference. I do want to back up and talk about the GLA. For those of you that are having PMS symptoms, people get great results with that. It's really good, especially during that perimenopause. But the interesting thing is, it depends on what's going on with your hormones. We talked about if you're estrogen dominant, or maybe you have the low estrogen. So you kind of have to test these two out and see which one, or even the combo of them, might work for you to help level out and balance your hormones. One of the things that at Shackley that we offer is a meology assessment. That is a short quiz, takes about 5 minutes. And what it does is it takes into account your lifestyle, your diet, your family history. You can load up your, if you want, this part's optional, but you can load up your latest blood work. You can load up your DNA results from Ancestry or 23andMe. And it will create a personalized supplement program just for you. And you can see in the picture that packet right there, you get your own little packet. So you don't have to try to guess which ones of these products are best for you. It will tell you exactly. I love my Meology packet. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to drop in the chat for those of you. When did I go on mute? Oh, probably when I put the link, huh?
Oh, you're good. I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Someone said I went on mute. So I don't know what part you missed, but the quiz is no obligation. I do recommend that when you get your results, talk with the person that invited you here, whether it's Laura, myself, or one of our other Smart Choices team members, because that can be customized to fit your budget, your goals, and all that good stuff too. So yeah, that's really important. Okay, I'm good on that slide, Laura. Do you want me to do the toxic load?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Needs a little break. Okay, so
I just didn't want to slow everybody down. Like I was talking too much. So I was like, okay, Carla can speed it up for me.
all right, so what we're coming into the last few minutes here. I want to thank everybody. We want to try to respect, we are going to respect your time. We're going to try to wrap up in the next 10 minutes. So one thing that a lot of people don't think about is how toxic chemicals actually affect our hormones. We put on, just think about when you get ready in the morning, how many chemicals do you put on your body, from your body wash in the shower to your deodorant to your face creams to your hair products. I mean, it just goes on and on. It's about 168 chemicals a day. And 60% of that gets absorbed into our skin. And so this is serious. And a lot of products have endocrine disruptors in them. So go ahead to the next slide, Laura. They're everywhere. Endocrine disruptors, and here's the problem. They disrupt our thyroid and our adrenal function. And Laura's laid that out to you, how important that is. It also affects our female reproductive systems. I mean, I've seen women who've eliminated a lot of these toxins and they were able to get pregnant, and before they were not. I'm not saying that will happen for you, but it does affect some women that way. And then the xenoestrogens, those really wreck our balance because you're putting that artificial into our body. And there's just so many toxins in everything that we have around us. So we're going to recommend on the next slide that you take a look at this, screenshot this slide, and just go look at some of the products that you have in your home that you're putting on your body and around you. And then go to the next slide. Start looking at your labels. And like Laura said, look at the ingredient list. That's where the truth is. Everything on the front is sales and marketing. So if you see anything on that page, that last slide she just showed you, if you see any of your products there, those have parabens and phthalates, and those are endocrine disruptors. So, swap these out. And we do have, with Shackley, we have lots of all of these products that you can swap out that do not have anything harmful to you or the environment in them. So things to consider is your cleaning products, things like air fresheners and candles, your beauty supplies, plastic food storage, personal care, cookware. Now, honestly, I haven't gotten rid of everything that's on this list. I still use my nonstick cookware. I still use some plastic food storage. But I have cut down and started reducing how much I'm using those items. I certainly gave up my air fresheners and candles a long time ago, but definitely swap because the more you can remove from your home, the better. You're going to have less exposure. Next slide. So mindset. Laura, did you want to talk about this one or you want me to finish?
Yeah, I'll talk about this and then I'll give back to you like just on the very end. So we're almost done, guys. So changing your mindset. Again, I was saying before, affirmations, mantras, things like that. We really make decisions in our subconscious, right? And not really our conscious mind. So when we say, and I know women especially have a hard time with this, can't take compliments, or we say bad things about ourselves or have negative talk and things like that, even if we're joking, your mind doesn't know the difference. So you need to say, I am balanced. I am worthy of love. I'm beautiful. I look great. I'm fit. I'm healthy. You want to say all of those things. You do not want to say the opposite. So I'm just going to say that. So if that sounds crazy to you, just start. And I promise it's going to change. Just your whole language about yourself is going to change how you feel about yourself and how you take care of yourself. So don't underestimate the value of that. Again, just looking at this list, breathing, restorative yoga, baths, things like that are all great. So I've definitely started doing some breathing practices and some yoga. I need to dig a little deeper into that, but I am getting into yoga and learning the practice, and it really does help settle your mind and get you out of your head. And I think that that's really important for our mental health and well-being. So weight loss, fat loss, waist loss, all these things, right? So dieting is never going to work for anybody because it's always temporary. So it's really lifestyle change and finding what's comfortable for you and then growing on your journey. So I think where you start is great in one thing, but if you're very dedicated to making changes in your life, you start small, and as you progress, you will gradually learn more. Your body's going to appreciate you, you're going to appreciate it back, and you're going to move through and do really well. So fad diets, forget it. Getting your stress under control, moving your body. We can always have one-off conversations about what might be right for you for movement, because that's going to be different for everybody and where their starting point is. So that's a big thing. We talked about thyroid and exposure to toxins. So I'll let Carla talk again, but she's going to talk about Deb here, who's one of our team members. It's super awesome. And this is one of Carla's first clients before she became a member of the team.
Yeah, so this is Deb, and she's on here. I think she might have just signed out, but Deb was my first weight loss client when I became a health coach, and she is amazing. She was turning 50. She was just in that perimenopause, starting to transition, and she lost 100 pounds and completely got her life back. Just amazing, just amazing. We also have Stacy on tonight too, and she had the same accomplishment. She lost over 100 pounds as well. I mean, but it's not dieting, and that's what we want to talk about is lifestyle change, and it can be done. You don't, just because you're going through menopause does not mean that you're sentenced to a life of weight gain and all these challenges. So I hope that this has inspired you. We're about to wrap it up. So the next slide, we want to say thank you to each of you. And then now we want to get a little feedback from you. If you would drop in the chat for us, please. And we really want everyone to participate in this, okay? If you are a 1, a 2, or a 3. So a 1 is you appreciate the information, you're good, that's all you need. That's it. Give us a 1. 2, if you want to know more and you'd like to, have to further your conversation with myself or Laura or your leader, if you want to know more. And then 3, if you are ready to take control and you want to start feeling better, then drop a 3. And I am trying to manage this. Let me see if I can find the chat. I want to see what you guys are saying. And then I want to give you an opportunity to work with Laura and me. We're going to be introducing something to you. All right, Christy. All right, Dawn. These ladies are in. They are all in. They're ready to make some changes. So let me tell you what we're offering. We're going to do a 5 with Laura. Awesome. Good, Joanna. All right. Amy Lynn, these people are all in. Laura, you have inspired tonight. I'm so happy.
It must have been the dancing.
It must have been the dancing. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a 5-day hormone detox. If you want to take all this information that you learned with Laura and me tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to have an opportunity for you to join us in a private program where we're going to help you over 5 days to start to make some changes, because you can see this is overwhelming. You're not going to be able to change everything overnight. I certainly didn't. Laura didn't. You're not going to either. So we want to offer you the support with our 5-day hormone detox. And if you'll go to the next slide.
Sure. Yep.
Laura.
Yep.
So what's included in the hormone detox is you're going to get a 5-day hormone detox guide. You're going to get a hormone health quiz. You can see where you are with your hormones. You're going to get a recipe guide. This is 46 pages of recipes for healthy breakfast, lunch, snacks, and dinners. It's amazing. You're going to get suggested meal plans and shopping lists. You're going to get a food diary. You're going to get membership in the accountability group with Laura and myself. And you're going to get coaching from myself and Laura in that group. It's only $49 if you sign up today. And I'm going to drop the link for that in the chat if anybody wants to sign up for it. And we're going to kick off next week. We're going to get started Monday through Friday of next week, just working on these healthy habits. We're going to take you through the guide, help you understand it, and offer you that coaching. And we would love to see you in that group. So is there another slide? Is there another slide?
I think that's it. I think that's it.
Okay.
So for anyone that does want to join, I'm going to do it as well. Like I've looked at all of this stuff and I was like, okay, this is something that I would like to do. So if anybody wants me to harass them, it's for anybody I'm working with now knows, like, I like to stay on top of people. Like if you just need that, just let me know.
Awesome. Awesome. So it is, oh, we did it right on time, Laura, 8:15. Okay. There was a question now. So everybody that joined us, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, I appreciate it. Everybody. This is super awesome. Like I want to do more of these. So even drop in the chat other things you want to learn about. I like doing this and I want to continue to do more. So we can definitely do this again, right?
Awesome. Absolutely. So it is 8:15. So if anybody needs to hop off, go ahead and hop off, but we're going to stick around for a few minutes and answer questions. So Laura can't see the chat, so I'm just going to tell you. Mary Grace says, amazing job. Heather says, thank you so much. Dawn says, I need it. Mary Ellen says, harass me, Laura. Donna says, thank you. Joanna says, let's get started, girl. Heather, thank you. Stacy, great job. Deb, thank you for all the information. We did have a couple questions I didn't know answers to. Maybe you know, Laura. Dawn asked, is it okay? She thought she has heard that heating sauerkraut might not be a good idea. Do you know anything? I don't know anything about that.
So heating it, like, well, two things. So I would say, obviously, like heating in the microwave is not ever going to be good, right? So microwave only when you need to, because it does change the molecular structure of food. I would say it could, I don't know for sure, but my gut's telling me like it probably kills some of the, the probiotics in it just with the temperature. So I would say if you're going to make, if you're just kind of eating it for taste, then probably not a big deal. But if you're eating it specifically for probiotics, I would probably eat it like, just straight out of the fridge kind of thing, or heat up your food and add it to it. So I think that's what speaks to me and what makes sense.
Okay, awesome. Amy Lynn says she threw her microwave out.
I remember. I think more than 5 years ago. It was more than 5 years ago because we worked together like longer than that. You've been without the microwave for a while.
Awesome. So another question that came up, I did not know the answer to is silicone bakeware healthier?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I've heard it's better. I don't know, but I don't know the definitive. All right. Mary Ellen says she has signed up for the detox program. Whoa, woo, woo. Mary Ellen's the first. Thank you.
There you go.
We will see you, and I'll be sending you out an email. You should be getting Mary Ellen with all the details, how to get your guides, how to get in the Facebook group. Thank you so much. Awesome.
All right, so going back to the silicone really quick. So it's not a horrible option. It's not the best, but it's better than using, other stuff because it does have like a lower level of toxicity and thermal stability. So it's a better alternative to non-stick cookware. So let's rate it as like a C+.
All right. Okay. Christy says she has Towncraft cookware and she loves it. I think that's a non-stick. It's a high quality cookware.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Right. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, Laura, do you have anything else, or we gonna?
I'm sorry for running a little bit over. I totally appreciate it. I can talk quite a bit. So again, if anyone wants to have any more one-off conversations or questions, you can text me, message me, and we can really just set up a time to like Zoom and chat, since you may not be like close by me where we can meet in person. Just so we can, I like having face-to-face conversations so we can really dig deeper in anything that you want more answers to or have questions on. I love doing it, and that's what I do. So yes.
Yes, awesome. So I'm going to drop for my guests. They can connect and schedule a consultation with me at contactcarla.com. And chat. And I think so. If you want to save the chat, those of you that are on, there's 3 dots beside the 2 where it says to everyone. Click on those 3 dots and you can do save chat, and then you can save all the chats and all the links. So that might be helpful to you if you had some links you want to go back and look at later. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to stop the live stream on Facebook.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes.